scientists, the corrupt, the inept, and the criminal, teachers created them too. Well, did that not start a little firestorm of angry teachers who, again, always feel slighted, always prepared to let someone else know that someone didn't do their job properly, but never want to hear that they did their job properly. So we got excuse number one from some obese teacher from somewhere, not that anyone cares. Excuse number one is the following. Teachers teach them about morals. Society destroys those morals. The dynamo response to that stupidity was only a teacher would attempt such a sophomoric dodge. Excuse number two. I can't help what children learn and at home from their mothers and fathers, what society may teach them outside the classroom. Can you read? Are you able to do math? Do you know about history? Teachers, sir, are the reason. I, as a teacher, am not completely responsible for everyone's morality once they leave my classroom. I am sorry you think only teachers should teach children of the world how to be truthful and morally sound person. I'm sorry that you think only teachers should teach children of the world and how to be truthful and morally sound person. Well, response to that stupidity, and as follows. Her statement, plain and simple, is false. Pre-K to kindergarten to senior year of high school, teachers control 30% of their charges' lives, and all educational input, all moral lessons, all language, all mathematics, sciences, and socialization. If teachers did their jobs properly, no single student would ever leave junior high school and believe in global warming. If teachers did their jobs properly, no single student would learn to lean leftist or towards communist ideologies. If teachers did their jobs properly, no student older than 9 years of age would allow a tolerance of Islam or abortion, nor would they believe in a parity between the heterosexual and homosexual cultures. If teachers did their jobs properly, no student would ever look down on any right detailed in the Constitution, nor would they accept the many infringements of those rights that exist already. Teachers, unlike society, control their students' understanding and progress via the grade, promotion/graduation system. Teachers allow failures, those who do not understand the aforementioned concepts properly, promoting them to the next level when they don't belong there. Ultimately, those academic failures become society's failures, unable to grasp simple concepts like listening to a cop or believing in an undeserved entitlement. Ultimately, the teacher's failures become society's burden. Since the 1980s, the education industry has churned out a student body of 70% plus failure to perform at grade level. For 50 years, we have all heard the same excuses from the usual suspects who continue to absolve themselves of responsibility for their unique legacy of failure. Can you read? Said the teacher. It's sophomorism. They always rely on sophomorism. Excuse number 3, from yet another teacher who was offended that responsibility is placed upon their shoulders. I am a teacher. Do not insult me or my friend who are teachers. Response to that stupidity. Teachers have a primary role in shaping of young minds for most of their young lives, not their parents who work or are not present, not TV or the internet, and not their equally naive peer group, teachers and teachers alone. Teachers demanded the absolute best from my peer group many years ago, and nobody in any profession can dare assert that standard is still applied to this day. If teachers are offended that I expect of them similar exemplary performance that was demanded of me as a child, all I could say, it is unfortunate that those teachers never met my teachers. With great power comes great responsibility, and excuses are for the weak. Problem here is cultural Marxism. And that is at the heart of what ails America and the education industry. Teachers are usually female, and we all know that females were the first Marxist domino to be exploited and toppled in this nation. So we're starting off with a teacher body who is petulant and demanding of entitlements sexist, and spiteful. This is the gateway for political correctness, Marxism, Common Core, Marxism, and affirmative advancement, Marxism. Politics and political incest, rather than nepotism, are rampant amongst the liberal set who see themselves as the gatekeepers of education. They are incapable of seeing beyond their individual bent. So we have the perfect ingredients for failure, and that's what we got. Right down to the systematic excuses and faux outrage regurgitated for all of our benefit every time a teacher is called on the carpet. Students have better excuses for their failures than teachers can come up with for their institution-wide failures. Who is to blame? Teachers' unions. Unions, America's accepted Marxist stronghold. Where you have a union, you have a socialist cancer that embraces diminished performance, excuse-making, nepotism, favoritism, politics, and failure in favor of competition towards excellence. By allowing teachers to organize into a union of any sort, we have permanently yoked the progress of said industry and that of its student victims. After judicial reform takes place in this nation, we begin with education reform. You fix the machine one failing part at a time. And that's where we are, people. A system that is broken and makes excuses for its being broken. You were not afforded excuses when you were under the care of these individuals. You were not afforded any type of failure. You were castigated for failure. You were mocked for failure. You were made the target of social derision from your peer group for failure, or just not appealing to the teacher's own ideological bent. Just like your workplace, just like the courts, just like the media, there is an unfair advantage given to a certain segment of the population who refuses to see itself accountable to the rest of us. Quite an irony, don't you think? Teachers don't want to be graded. Teachers don't want to be judged on their performance. Teachers don't want to be looked upon for their failures. This is what they spend their entire careers doing. They just don't want it done to them. Very interesting, isn't it? It's a very adolescent mindset. One, the rest of us are not afforded, unless, we wear our special magical black robes that make us above everyone else. So the teacher, who has spent her entire life talking down to children, do their best to talk down to adults who expect of them the same thing these teachers have always expected of children: their utmost performance and obedience. Teachers don't want to obey, and teachers don't want to perform. And until they do, they're bad machines and targets for our little hammers of destruction. Bonk bonk on the head, teacher, teacher. It's time that you live up to a standard. The machine standard. It's the machine standard of excellence. You get with it. Let's see a 50% failure rate. Let's see a 10% failure rate. Let's see you people do your damn job without making excuses. And let's see what happens to America. Change the courts. You'll change the schools. You'll change these teachers' unions. You'll change the plague of Marxism that infects this nation. And once you do, you will make America great again. Come along, my bad machines. Pick up your hammers, and let's get to work. Bad machine. Myths of the Machine is brought to you by our sponsor, Mighty Man Limited. Be a master of the universe when you wear Mighty Man Limited athletic and sportswear, custom-designed athletic compression gear for male and female athletes, compression shirts, sports bras, yoga pants, hoodies, and more. Available only at mightyman.logosoftware.com. Be mighty. Since the time when men gathered around campfires and told tales of the warriors who challenged the monsters that gather in the dark. The mighty men who fought alongside the gods, some rising to victory, others falling to the abyss. These are the heroes who became the myths of the machine. This will make you nice. Iron Mike smiled as he re-racked his barbell on the weight bench. This will make you nice. It was the favorite saying of his old gym instructor, Ms. Vitiginio. It had been decades since he had last seen or spoken to the woman, but his daily fitness routine was a testament to the elementary school teacher's enduring legacy of fitness lessons. Finishing his regime on the treadmill, Iron Mike grabbed a quick meal and a protein shake with an extra scoop of vanilla ice cream, and proceeded to get ready for the night that was sure to be filled with sports celebrities, movie stars, the paparazzi, and adventure. Iron Mike was the doorman at New York City's premier nightclub for America's A-listers, the Olympus. Everybody who was anyone had to be seen at Olympus, and anybody who had been seen at Olympus had to be seen with Iron Mike. It was a not-so-secret secret. People only came to Olympus because of Iron Mike. It wasn't the internationally known DJs and their new mixes playing on the turntables. It wasn't the parade of dancing girls or the floor show not seen in New York City since the black and white film era. It wasn't the steady stream of world-class athletes or the retinue of movie and television actors who usually saw themselves as the center of all attention. Everybody who stepped through the velvet-roped gateway at Olympus hoped to meet the legendary Iron Mike. To Iron Mike, all the flash and dash and whirl was just another night at work as the house crews prepped the bars, the food concession, the lights, the dance floors, and the VIP lounges. The muscular man, now dressed in a tailored tuxedo, washed down the last bite of a cheeseburger with a swig of Mighty Man's sports energy drink. That would hold him over for an hour or two. The large man placed the walkie-talkie earbud in his ear. He squelched his wrist transmitter key to open a communication channel to his security team and spoke. Showtime. He walked to the etched, smoked glass doors, opened them, and stepped out to see the usual crowd, a line of guests that stretched down the Midtown side street, and all the would-be VIPs, now 6 deep, thronging a queue of expensive limousines. Here we go, Iron Mike spoke to himself in a barely audible whisper. Club life is as routine as office life, and within 90 minutes of opening, a couple who had enjoyed too much too quickly were escorted to a cab ride home. 5 people had insisted their workplace bona fides earned them a spot in a semi-private affair, and just as many supposed close personal friends of Iron Mike assured Iron Mike they were on his guest list, and all he had to do was ask him. It was the same story night after night. All that changed were the faces and the DJ's tracks. As if right on cue, at midnight, the typical, but you don't know who I am routine escalated from a simple, you're not invited here, go home, to a threat of life and limb, as a would-be rap star with a wounded ego pulled out a gun and pointed it at the clipboard-carrying celebrity drag queen, Rhonda Rochelle, for daring to not find his made-up name on the house's VIP guest list. Nobody saw exactly how, but suddenly, Iron Mike's hand enveloped the rapper thug's own hand, redirecting it straight towards the empty sky, lifting the man off his feet, fingers squeezing like a mechanical vice, crushing the gun-toting street thug's bones and the metal pistol like it was made of brittle candy. The man howled in pain as the costumed drag performer gasped in his falsetto affectation. The thug rapper's bubble-butt female companion also drew a concealed pistol and pointed it at the tuxedo doorman who held her meal ticket by his now functionless extremity. As quickly as it leveled towards the security man's chest, the forefinger of his free hand plugged the barrel of the lady thug's pistol. When she squeezed off a round, its momentum was reversed into the inner workings of the firearm, and it exploded in her hand, taking off several fingers in the process. The woman shrieked in pain and horror, shocked